Conservative Media peeps, what's up? It's me, John D. Villarreal, and we're joined by Chris Miller, who is the Vice Chairman for the San Francisco Republican Party in charge of media and communications. Now, Chris, you've got an important, you're also a mother, and you're very involved in education, and you've got a very important initiative that you're trying to get going here in California. Tell me about that.
So that is correct. I am involved in leadership in the Republican Party, but more importantly, I'm a single mother of two. Both of which are in the public school system, the public education system in San Francisco. More importantly, I'm the chairman of an organization by the name of Students First. It's based in San Francisco.
Students First, okay. What's that do?
So basically, we are an organization that advocates for public education and students, as well as parents of students, primarily in San Francisco, but also outside of San Francisco, by way of political action. So in this case, bringing up my initiative, that this is our first major initiative. It's actually the first of a series of education reform initiatives, 5 to be exact, in a period of 3 years, that we are not only writing this legislation, but we're also getting it qualified and getting these initiatives passed in San Francisco. Essentially, it's a very large group of parents that are basically advocating.
So a lot of people are coming together for this. It sounds very exciting. What is this initiative? What does it do? How does it help parents? How does it help kids?
Sure. So basically, just for those that have children and don't. So in simple terms, in San Francisco, we have something very similar to what New York used to have. We are the only city in California that is still operating their student assignment system based on a lottery, which I think a lot more of the, more members of the public are now starting to understand this whole lottery system and how our public education system is failing our children in California and in other states as well. I mean, Nevada is the perfect example.
Yeah.
Everything going on in DC right now, Los Angeles, I mean, there's many areas that have the same issue, but we have a unique issue in San Francisco. So in the late 1960s and early 1970s, this lottery system and forced busing were adopted for the purposes of desegregation, which was absolutely needed, 100%.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that take place in a large metropolitan city or also in small areas as well that are a fix for a very serious issue.
But now we still have it.
That become outdated, and not only that, but in some cases, which is the case in San Francisco,
some negative side effects.
that have become a detriment to the education system and our students in San Francisco. So they're, for instance, the unions. At some point, there was a need for the unions. They were serving a purpose, and specifically in education, there was a need for the teachers' unions to represent, these underpaid, educators throughout our nation. And now it's turning into something where the teachers' union, in some ways, is not advocating for children. They're not advocating for teachers, and I've talked to hundreds of them over the process of doing what I'm doing.
It's all about the union.
Exactly. So basically, what this is we are under a lottery system right now that has been highlighted in the recent documentary Waiting for Superman.
Yeah.
So they're talking a little bit more about charter schools, but I think they definitely touch pretty heavily on the issue of the lottery system. And they show that from the perspective of the parents, the educators, also from the former administrators that are starting these alternative schools. So we're in a lottery system right now that basically gives no guarantee to any parent or student as to where their child will be attending school throughout the city, anywhere within a 7-mile radius in our city.
That's nerve-wracking. So,
for instance, I'm a parent. I moved to San Francisco a couple of years ago, native Californian. I moved there as a single mom with 2 children, and I have childcare for 1 child. I'm an executive in a high-tech company downtown, and I'm trying to decide, okay, so where's my daughter going to school?
Yeah.
Well, we have a school 6 blocks away from the house. So one would automatically assume
that's your school.
To build a sense of community, for things to be easier for parents to be involved. The area where you're paying property taxes or very high rent in the case of a lot of us in San Francisco, I would like to at least know that my child is going to be relatively close to the home. And from a safety perspective, I mean, I don't want my child on a muni bus or on a school bus with 2 other kids, on the way to school every single morning and in the afternoon on the way home.
Or have to walk through some tougher neighborhood.
It makes sense that one would assume when I'm moving to the city, my daughter's going to the school 6 blocks away from her house. Well, that's incorrect. Because in San Francisco, there's no guarantee your child will be going to school anywhere near where they live. In fact, the 3 options that I was given were anywhere near my home. They were all outside of our neighborhood, our district, and within 20 minutes outside of where we lived.
Wow.
So I went through a very long and convoluted process to get my daughter into the school 6 blocks away from her house. I mean, it's a right of every child to have an education and have the option of going to school in their community. And we have a broken sense of community in California. Another big piece that plays into our student assignment system not being neighborhood-based or even giving parents the option of going to their neighborhood school first is the forced busing issue. We are spending millions of dollars on an annual basis. So from a fiscal perspective, it doesn't make any sense for us to be busing kids all over the city. What they haven't justified the need for it. They're using social justice as a reason for doing this, for not allowing parents the option of sending their children to a school in their neighborhood.
So your initiative does what? It allows parents to say...
It allows parents the option of sending their kids to the school closest to their home, but still leaves the option open for them to opt to another school if they so choose.
That's fine.
And it also allows us a way of being more accountable to taxpayers who may or may not have children in the school district and may never.
But they're still put in the spill.
Exactly. I mean, you're still paying property taxes regardless of whether or not you have children in public school, or even if you have a plan of building a family later. So it also holds our city leadership and our school board and the SFUSD accountable to stop forced busing that is absolutely not 100% not needed in the city anymore outside of special needs children.
Right.
So it holds them accountable and says, hey, we're in a fiscal crisis here, from an education perspective and in our citywide budget, which I'm sure you're very well aware of.
Not only is it not working and having negative social, it's too expensive.
We're saving over $15 million a year, doing away with forced busing that was originally adopted for a very real purpose that is no longer needed.
Right.
It can't be justified any longer. Right. So these are the two things that this initiative is doing.
And what kind of support have you gotten?
We've gotten a tremendous amount of support. This is actually the first time I've worked on a piece of legislation or an initiative that has not only received bipartisan support across the board, but that is education-based, that's getting even more support from communities that aren't necessarily as concerned about education, or people that don't plan on being parents, that don't have children in the education system. So this is a very unique time.
It is interesting, yeah.
This is a very unique thing where not only is there no one that's publicly against what we're doing yet, I say yet because we've just qualified the initiative in the last 6 weeks. We don't have word back from essentially the teachers union and the school board or the San Francisco Unified School District as to whether or not they're in support of what we're doing or otherwise. We're basically giving the voters the opportunity and a platform to make decisions in a system that has completely failed our children and our community, because these are the future leaders of our community and our city. We're giving them the ability to vote on things that would otherwise be voted on in close quarters.
So you think this is better for communities, it saves money, it's better for the kids, and it's better for families?
Not only that, but we have the highest achievement gap in the state, and this, in essence, is also going to allow us to pinpoint where that is coming from and how we can help those children that need our help. Whether it be within a certain demographic, whether it be within certain neighborhoods or districts, we need to be able to pinpoint where the issue is coming from instead of hiding it by moving kids and headcount all over the city in different districts.
All right, masking the problem.
There are quite a few implications to this piece of legislation. It's not a small decision. It's a very large issue that has been in the media for the last couple of years, but no one's done anything about it because it's a huge undertaking.
So how do people learn more about this, and how can they get involved and help you out?
Sure. So we do have a website. It's www.sfstudentsfirst.org.
We'll put that in the description down there. Sure. You can click on it, link on it, blah, blah, blah.
So, and also, I can be contacted as well. Chris.Miller, so CHRIS.Miller at sfstudentsfirst.org.
You might get a lot of different emails in our report. That's all right.
So,
keep it professional.
So I can, definitely give more info. And another wonderful thing is we have organizations all over the city that are supporting this and endorsing this. We have public officials that are endorsing this as well, one of which is Leland Yee, who has a tremendous background in education, is a very intelligent man who's been involved in education and public policy and politics for years in California. Some current supervisors as well in San Francisco. We may be working very soon with the Institute on Ethics as well. So this is a really neat opportunity for people to come together and say, look, we have failed our children, the public education system is failing us, what can we do now, right now? Not what can we talk about, but what can we do? And this is one opportunity to do.
Sounds great. Well, look, I encourage everyone to go there, check out our site, learn more, see if this is for you. Sounds interesting for me. We need to do something different to mix it up to help our kids out there and get our education system better, as well as saving some money and make everything better. No question about it. Chris, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for giving me your time.
Yeah, good luck on your initiative.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, for Conservative Media, I'm John. This is Chris. We'll see you next time.